icy exchanges between President Obama and Russian President Vladimir Putin this week in Asia. The world leaders crossing paths, first in Beijing and then later at a G20 summit in Australia. You could cut the tension with a knife as President Obama gave Putin what appears to be the cold shoulder. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and the same may go for a handshake. I want to bring in TONYA, REIMAN, body language expert and author of The Power of Body Language. TONYA, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So let's take a look at President Obama and President Putin today, and then compare it to when they were together about a year ago.
Big contrast.
What does this picture show you?
Well, right there, that's something interesting. Putin touches Obama, and that's not something you normally see. He's much more engaged in this picture, in this episode, than he typically is. Normally, it's Obama doing the touching. So he it's like he's leveling out the playing field and how he's being the alpha as well.
Yeah, and then as he walks away, he's smiling at Obama,
yeah.
like everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's good. But interestingly enough, again, Obama's normally the one who's very friendly, outgoing. It's a complete switch because he's giving him a cold shoulder. He looks like he doesn't even want to be bothered. He won't acknowledge him that much.
Now, let's go back a year ago when the two were together and see if you see a difference here. This next picture of them a year earlier.
Watch the initiation of the handshake, right? Look how Obama leans in. And did you see Putin pull back just now?
Yeah.
So there's the intimidation factor, and he uses this, his height advantage. So when you see this, he's also touching Putin's shoulder. And then as he walks away, if you watch Putin's face, you'll see the change. He's smiling, Obama runs away, but now when they roll back to... if you rolled back to Putin in that clip, what wound up happening was he put on a look of disgust and then looked down, and then that's that vulnerability coming out. He knows that he kind of lost that alpha confrontation.
Yeah. But he comes back stronger than ever a year later with those pictures we watched a minute ago, and basically trying to make the case through pictures that, yeah, you've put all these sanctions on Russia, but, you know, we're still stronger than ever.
You're not going to knock us down. And you're right. And I think a lot of it had to do also with the fact that he was also surrounded by people who were similar in height to him. Believe me, that makes a difference in how somebody feels in terms of the difference in height, superiority.
So he's with all of these people who are the same height, and Obama's a little taller.
Right. So now he doesn't feel that same level of insecurity because he's around people who are also the same height.
What was your take on the interaction between the leader of China and the leader of Japan? We know that there are massive tensions here. Prime Minister Abe and the president. Let's look at this.
Yeah. So when you look at Prime Minister Abe, if you see he's leaning in, he's trying to engage, right? And then you have the Chinese president, what does he do?
He doesn't want to hear anything about it.
No, not only that. He has, look at his face. His face is actually showing disgust. He angles his body completely away. And also the Prime Minister gave a good handshake. You know, the president he wasn't interested in that at all. And it was so disrespectful in the sense that he wouldn't even engage facially. But of course you have to recognize there are some cultural differences, just not enough for that much coldness.
But do you think the Chinese premier is doing that to placate his people, or is this something that, I mean, I don't know that you could tell this from the video, but I mean, the same with Putin. I mean, you've got to, he's also playing to the crowd.
It's context, yes, because what you're trying to do is say, I'm willing to move forward, but at the same time, I can't give you too much because if I do, then I'll lose face.
Which relationship is worse off, China-Japan or Putin and Obama, based on what we're looking at?
When you see Putin and Obama after all this time, how they've constantly disengaged, you have to wonder how bad that is.
Let's take a look at Putin and President Bush, which we also have, just for some context here, a couple of years ago when these two were together.
Look at them. Look at how close they are. They lean in.
He's got flowers.
Here, Bush touches and Putin touches back. See, there's a warmth there. That's different. Now, if you watch them here, the body language matches. See how they're both leaning in? The handshake is strong. And look at them. They're almost like shoulder to shoulder. And they make a sincere effort to lean in towards each other. And after the handshake, you'll see both into that same rapport position. And they lean in towards one another as well. Very big difference the way they felt about each other.
Really interesting stuff, TONYA. All right, we will leave it there, but I'll tell you, these pictures really do say a lot, and we appreciate you analyzing them for us. Thank you so much. TONYA, REIMAN joining us. The battle over